On today's Customer Spotlight, we're going to talk to the owner of this beautiful 2020 Rapid Red Mustang GT, who's had quite a few Mustangs over his lifetime. All right, so I'm here with Ray, who's the owner of this 2020 Mustang GT, and we've known each other 20 years now,
right,
probably,
about 20,
something like that.
21, somewhere around there.
Ray's had a bunch of Mustangs, several which actually have been on camera. We've used your cars for videos over the years. You've even owned one of my cars actually over the years. So tell us, what got you started Mustangs? I mean, why Mustang when there's all other options out there?
So when I was 16 years old and I had just gotten my permit, a good family friend had bought a new Mustang GT 1986 Mustang GT.
Showing your age a little bit there, but okay.
She goes, she tossed me the keys and said, go put some gas in it for me. Understand this was when unleaded was just coming in. So I took her car, filled it up with leaded gas, and then proceeded to run the tank completely out of it. When they did finally find me, broke down on the side of the road, I had decided at that point that Mustang was the car for me.
That was the car. And how many of you had roughly since then?
23, 24. I think this is number 24.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
I think.
And your last car before this was obviously my old red Mustang GT.
Yeah, and that was by far my favorite out of all of them. I mean, this is a nice car, but that 18 was just, it was done right before I got it. The parts that I put on it after I got it, they just, other than the little hiccups with some tuning on it, it was just a fantastic car.
And I know with this car, you're obviously just picked this one up. We're just getting started. We've actually done a video on it already on the new diode lights on the front. But what made you make the change from the 18 to the 20?
So going back to just before I met you back in the early 90s, mid 90s, I busted my leg up while I was in the Army at Fort Bragg, and 3 surgeries later when they couldn't fix it, they discharged me on a medical discharge. And over the years, just from the surgeries and the after effects and the way my leg works now, I've managed to destroy my left hip.
Okay.
And so
clutch.
Gotcha. I needed an automatic.
As light as these clutches are, it still wasn't, it was the movement?
It was the movement.
Okay.
The doctor said, we're going to replace the hip, but even if we do, if you keep using the clutch, we're going to replace it again. So stop driving. They told me last year, and I ignored them. And
you stubborn? No, never.
Well, so yeah, I needed an automatic, and this one just happened to fall into my lap.
The one thing that you and I have a lot in common is you like to drive your cars. Now this car you've owned for 5 weeks now?
About 5.5 weeks.
How many miles have you put on it?
Just under 3,000.
And my 18, I think when I sold it to you, it had what?
14,391 miles.
I'll say less than 20, but okay. And then you got rid of it with?
63,700.
So you don't stay home much?
No.
So
cars are meant to be driven.
And I could not agree more. So let's get back to the A10 here, car, your new 2020. Obviously, I said we've done some stuff to this already. Tell us about the modifications to the car, and then what are your kind of future plans with this car?
Well, so far I swapped the hood vents. You can see that. Those incidentally came off Smoke Show.
Yes, they're from the original Smoke Show.
I did the Rally Innovations 3-piece on the front with the Roush wings in the back, and the Roush winglets, the airfoils, I think they call them.
Okay.
On the rear
end. Winglets on the side, yep.
Yep. I picked up a Ford GT500 spoiler from you guys because it was a good deal. I would prefer the GT350 track pack like was on the red car.
I think that was all for a scratch and dent pile, if I remember.
It was, and I don't know why it was there. There's no marks on it, but I'm not going to complain. And then I did a JLT cold air intake on it. That I picked up from you guys last week, actually. The badges on the side I've done, little things, mostly appearance. The JLT is the only performance, and I say performance simply because it's probably 10, 12 horsepower, realistically.
With a tuner, it'll make some power.
Revolution gave me the can tune for it. I talked to Adam down at Revolution.
Okay.
And he did a can tune on it, and I'm sure it picked some up, but I haven't really beat on the car enough yet to know how much.
Yeah.
And obviously haven't had it on the dyno yet. And then I was able to save my taillight panel off of the old red car. I was able to pull it off of that before I got rid of it.
Okay, and you had that custom painted, I believe.
Yeah, it had some custom artwork done on that from my time in Iraq with the federal government.
Okay.
So future plans, I'd like to go back to drag racing, and
A10's perfect for that.
Exactly. I was always hesitant to race the 18 simply because it was a 6-speed. I did put the GT350 axles in it, and I'm sure they would have probably survived a season or two if I didn't put a real sticky tire on it. But that manual transmission, just so many people breaking those. and I know Big Caliber makes really good stuff. I also know Big Caliber, my checkbook can't afford Big Caliber right now. So eventually I want to start racing this again, I think. But before that happens, you just put a Vortec on another car of a friend of mine that I know, and the power that car made.
That was my first 18 and up S550 I've driven with a Vortec, and that car's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think the 18 I put the Edelbrock on, and it was good. It made 680 wheel horsepower.
Okay.
It ran good, but I think the Vortec or another centrifugal, if not the Vortec, is in my future. I don't
mean, that
think
car
I'm
made
going to
almost
go.
700 with an Atom tune and a basic kit.
I think he did 693.
Yeah,
and
I know it's right in that neighborhood.
It was the basic kit, and I think he put a JLT, Vortec based JLT cold air intake on it.
And it's a bullet, so it had the 350 manifold, but yeah.
Yep, and he lost his bullet throttle body.
Yeah, so you're losing a little bit there too.
So he's actually got a smaller than stock throttle body for that car on it, and it's still making that kind of power.
Almost 700 horsepower.
I drove the car. Yeah, it's there. It's there.
Now, do you plan on like suspension upgrades for this car? I mean, obviously, I think you're lowered on the Acceltech springs now.
That's right. I forgot about that. I did put your Acceltech springs on it, and I have already picked up. In fact, sitting in the trunk right now are the Steeda isolators.
Okay.
Or sorry, the bushing supports.
Gotcha.
And the inserts. I'm going to pick up the subframe braces for it, and once I get those, I'll do the whole rear end at one time.
Okay. And then go to the track, get some baselines, and kind of. I mean, you think of power adders in the future? I mean, you're talking about the Vortec, but are you going to try to see how far you can go on motor first? I mean, we know how fast these cars can go.
You know, I mean, I'm sure I will take it to the track as it sits. I don't think I'm going to do a whole lot more bolt-ons. Like, I'm not, you know, long tubes. Everybody loves long tubes. They make power. I don't think they make enough power to justify the amount of
and in this day and age,
anger that, you know,
might not be worth doing.
They're so hateful to put in. And I'm older and lazier now than I ever was. I'm not doing it myself.
Gotcha.
So I don't think I'll do anything like that. I'm not going to change the manifold because I don't plan on changing this hood. So probably not a whole lot more NA to it. Maybe I'll get bored while I'm waiting to put the blower on it and throw a nitrous kit on it. I mean,
okay, not a lot of nitrous coyotes out there, but there are a few.
Well, you know, when we met, that's what I ran.
I know the nitrous.
So,
you were black coupe on nitrous was like your thing for years back in the day.
That was my bottle baby.
Now with this car here, obviously, I mean, you've been through 24, 25 Mustangs. I'm going to say, is this one a keeper? But who knows? Is going to be. What would be your dream Mustang though? If you got rid of this, what would it have to take? What would be the next one?
You know, the 18. The 18 was my dream Mustang. You know me, you've known me a long time. I usually don't keep a car more than a year. So I had that car 2.5 years, and I had no desire to get rid of that car. Every time I even thought about doing it, I talked myself out of it because you get a car that when you get into it, you start it up, it immediately puts a smile on your face. That's the car.
That's why we build them, and that's what it's all about.
This one has almost every option that the 18 had. I mean, obviously it's not a performance pack car, but you can turn anything into a performance pack by shopping at CJ's, or you know what I mean? It's got the 401A. The only thing it doesn't have that I wish it had is the MagnaRide suspension.
MagnaRide is nice.
Because that was a game changer. The way that car rode was just incredible. But even this doesn't ride terrible. The springs that I bought and put on it, I didn't really notice much of a difference from stock as far as ride quality.
Which is good. Yeah.
So I've got no complaints about how this one rides.
So you don't want a Shelby or a Mach 1 or nothing like that. You're happy with. I mean, the color is beautiful. Like, I love the Rapid Red.
Yeah, and in the sun, the metallic flake in it is just amazing. I was a race red fanatic after I bought that car. Now I've always owned black or blue or dark color.
You were black. I said black coupe guy forever.
When I bought your car with that red, the selling point on your car was the price, and of course the stuff it already had done to it. But I knew the car, I knew the history. The color was kind of until I owned it.
I was the same way. I never would have ordered a race red, but it's like I already had the blues. I didn't want black or white. I was like, you know what? I've never had a bright red Mustang. Not in a long time anyway. I'm like, let me get a bright red Mustang.
And that car, I can't even begin to tell you, any time of the day, no matter where you were, if you were out in that car, at least one time somebody's going to wave, tell you what a great looking car it was.
No, I enjoyed that car. That was, there's always the ones that get away, and that would be on my list for sure.
But I like this color a lot. I like the fact that it was a black accent package car. you know, the roof wrap, it had, the 18
Yeah,
had the
yeah.
roof wrap on it when I got it from you. I changed it up, but I did keep a roof wrap on it. I don't think I'm gonna do a roof wrap
No,
on
the
this
black
one.
roof looks really good.
I just think
with
it
the
looks
wrap in
right on
red.
this car. Other than that, I don't see any reason why I would get rid of this one. I mean,
Just do your normal thing, enjoy it, put a ton of miles on it, drive it as much as possible.
exactly,
Cool.
exactly.
Well, right, thanks again for bringing it out. We appreciate it. And Deb, good luck, and I'm sure we'll see this in the studio again.
Oh, hopefully.